Okay, today we're going to make a stand to put your little coffee tamper in and to then export in a format that you can 3D print. Okay, so there's a couple of things you need to do. By default, Blender is in meters. So let's change it in a couple of places. So the scale, we want to now be 1,000th of a meter there for this. And over here, we want the under scene properties, we want to change this to millimeters and change the unit scale to 1,000th. 001. Alright, we also want to make sure that we have the under edit preferences, we want to make sure that we have the 3D toolbox installed. It comes by default. Okay, mesh 3D print toolbox, I've already got that installed. Click it if you haven't. So we're going to just get straight into it. We're going to add, I'm not going to use the shortcut key, so you should be able to follow along. Cube, and that's tiny. So just going to make that, I'm not even going to do anything. It's a 2mm by 2mm by 2mm cube. What we want to do is we're going to make a base out of this cube, and then we're going to cookie cut the circle out the hole for the tamper. So we're going to make it 70 by 70. And we're going to make it 10 high. So here, this is the base. Now I'm going to zoom in a little. And we want to we're going to now cookie cut the hole out of that. So I'm now going to add, and now we're going to add a cylinder. Add mesh cylinder. And you can't see it, that's because it's too small. Let's make it bigger. I'm just going to leave that default. You can increase that to make it smoother. The radius should be a little bit over half of your tamper diameter. So I'm going to make that 29 here. You should go and measure your tamper and get it the right size. Obviously you want a little bit of clearance so you can get it in and out. And the depth we're going to make 20. So that's not critical. All we want to make sure is that we can use this as a cookie cutter into the base. So if we click just anywhere here, that will disappear. Now the next thing we want to do is we don't want to hole all the way through, we just want to hole halfway down. So I'm going to select that and I want to move it up. So I'm going to go G, and Z is the Z axis. Move that up. If you don't select Z, that will just move all over the place. If you move it and it goes a little bit haywire, just hit escape and try again. So alright, so if we hide the cylinder, we've still got a base, right? Cool. Now what we want to do is we want to select the base. This is really important. So we're selecting the base. This is what we want to cut from. Now we're going to go over to here and modifier properties. We want to add a modifier. The modifier we want to add, there's a big long list here, but Boolean, we know what it's called, and there's 3 different options here. Intersect, union when we want to add them together, intersect when we only want the common part, and difference, the default, is when we want to take an object away from the selected object. So we've got difference selected. We've only got one other object other than the base, and bada bing, we've done that. Now obviously you can't see, well not obviously, but I can't see any difference. So if we now go and hide the cylinder, woohoo, okay, so we're nearly ready to go and make some coffee. So under here now we've got the 3D print. There is a check all. This is a really simple model, but if you start doing editing, you can get weird things happening. I'll leave that as a future video. In fact, no, I'll let you discover that yourself. And then there are some options for cleaning up. We've got an overhanging face. That's because there's always something underneath. That's going to be sitting on your printer build plate, so that's fine. That's going to be your first layer. So, but if you've got weird overhang faces, in midair, that can be a problem. The printer can't handle overhanging faces if the angle that they're building out on is more than about 45 degrees. Okay, so now we want to export. We leave apply scale and copy textures alone. The format is STL. You can set whatever directory you like, and then you just go export, down here, exported untitled cube. Maybe I should have given it a more creative name, but there you have it. We now have an STL.